People date to fill a void within, not to build a life with a significant other, if I may use the term. Most Indians enter relationships because they feel lonely, bored, unloved at home, insecure, pressured to experience dating by so-called alpha males. Sometimes having that feeling of stirred, and I don't know, like for a female, how does it sums up? But those are like some general things. They're seeking emotional validation, not genuine partnership. When the initial high fades, like the honeymoon period goes away, you see all those fights. The void, the restlessness comes within. You think that this restlessness could be solved by finding the other half, finding your loved partner and whatnot, but that's not true. Yo guys, namaskaram. So when I was making the video about marriage, the previous video which you might have seen, so like one root cause of it is when we come to the root of it is essentially it's a relationship. So I thought let's just talk about relationships, that why most Indian relationships fail, and not a lot of us talk about it openly, but let's just be honest, because it's a matter of life and death now. Indian relationships don't fail because love ends, they fail because it's built on weak foundations, unrealistic expectations of your partner, and broken cultural conditioning. So, I talked a lot about this pressure to get married and things like that. But today, or at least in this video, we'll dissect why most relationships collapse from a mental perspective, emotional perspective, and most important, practically. So the first thing is the kind of cinema that we have been injecting into our being, into our mind, all the filth that Bollywood and social media teaches us, which is just unrealistic expectations. This whole Indian dating culture is shaped by Bollywood romance, sitting on knees, Instagram couple reels, unrealistic fantasies that I'll do this and this, I'll escape to the mountains and whatnot. People expect magic, perfect chemistry. You see, eye to eye, we'll get love, constant attention, seeking validation because we are so broken on the inside, grand gestures to show to the world. But if you actually study real relationships, people who have had quote unquote successful marriages, who are just happy, fulfilled, it requires real effort, the tolerance to sustain boredom. It's the same as developing a skill when you're going through the grind repeatedly. A relationship building also requires that. Honest heart to heart communication, even if it hurts your ego, and mastering your emotional being. So, most people want the screen reality, the movie, not the actual work that goes into making a relationship happen. No one is taught genuine emotional skills, emotional control, resilience. Schools don't teach it. Parents don't model it because, of course, they also married out of compulsions. Society does not value it because then once you have emotional control, you'll not be a good, or let's say a blind voter, and you'll not be a very good contributor to the economy, because only a blind person recklessly chases all these gadgets and whatnot without even knowing that what is the center, why are these things really required. So you see, this whole ecosystem does not value person of understanding. As a result, people don't know how to authentically communicate, value honest boundaries. We just bottle up emotions and then they just explode during conflict. A lot of people use guilt, shame, silent treatment, sometimes shaming their other half in public, dramas, telling the whole society how bad I'm being treated. People are unable to just be true to themselves, and a lot of us fear our own vulnerable self because we see that as we grow up, what is respected is power, boldness, the ability to protect oneself, and no one values or respects a vulnerable person. So you just hide all of that, and that also then comes into a relationship which is built on completely different tangents. Two emotionally immature people cannot ever sustain a relationship. And then I had talked about this in my previous video, that this whole caste, religion, and family interference destroys genuine compatibility. Your relationship is just not you with the other person, it's your entire family with their family. That's why we say family marries families, though it's complete baloney. But it's you plus them plus both families plus whatever politics is happening, how the clan feels. Family try to control for a lot of moment, which career would she pursue, whether she'll go out, what would be his chances, and vice versa. Sometimes the girl's family also just try to fabricate certain realities, certain cases, false cases. They try to control where you live, which person from which caste you'll marry, how often will you visit relatives, and a lot of other small things. Couples break up because of this whole baggage and families refusing to adjust. And then we also have this attachment culture. Indian don't know proper healthy boundaries. Most Indians grow up with intrusive parenting. That basically means that your parents would not just respect your personal space, they'll just get into each and every decision of yours. No respect for privacy. And we are taught to be emotionally dependent rather than becoming self reliant. So, in relationships, you see that a lot of partners expect constant texting. They panic if there's a good silent space. They misinterpret someone's independence as rejection to their own being. Boundaries are seen as insults to one own's being, not genuine self respect. And then we also have these gender roles which are being enforced upon us. And then we, I don't know why, happily take it that men want I've seen modern girlfriends but traditional wives. They would want to date a person with the highest and the most liberal sort of values, but when it comes to a partner, the most traditional sort of values, women want modern independence but old school male provider benefits. For women, it's having all the benefits of being single, but also having the security of marriage that someone is just there to provide for me. Both genders are caught between this modern lifestyle, caught in the middle, and ancient expectations. Result is just confusion and a lot of mess, constant fights, misaligned roles, not healthy conflict resolution, and then just if one does kids in ignorance, it just trickles down. All your insecurities, traumas, trickles down to your kids. Zero clarity about life. What type of lives, what type of goals do we want? Most relationships fail because the individuals are confused about their own career purpose. What's the type of life that I want to live? Maybe some people are confused about the type of lifestyle they want, the city they want to live in priority. So all of this requires time, but then we want to just bind ourselves for a lifelong trauma sort of thing without even developing understanding in our life. So if you don't know where you are going, how do you expect someone to walk with you? Two confused people is just emotional chaos. Instead, what I feel that just pick a direction, whatever you feel is up for you. And if someone comes, it's fine. Someone doesn't come, it's all the more better. I think Gautam Buddha again talks about it that it's better to walk alone than walking with a lot of idiots. So that's like one of my favorite quotes. But anyhow, back to the point, people date to fill a void within, not to build a life with a significant other, if I may use the term. Most Indians enter relationships because they feel lonely, bored, unloved at home, insecure, pressured to experience dating by so called alpha males, sometimes having that feeling of stirred. And I don't know, like for a female, how does it sums up, but those are like some general things. They're seeking emotional validation, not genuine partnership. When the initial high fades, like the honeymoon period goes away, you see all those fights. The void, the restlessness comes within. You think that this restlessness could be solved by finding the other half, finding your loved partner and whatnot, but that's not true. And I've also seen this that we over romanticize sacrifice. That sacrifice is needed to build a very good relationship. Indian worships adjustment. People sacrifice their career, their identity, their sense of being, their mental health, their boundaries, their friendships. Sacrifice does not equal love. Sacrifice equals resentment. Over time, resentment poisons even the strongest bonds. It's just like a tree. It's growing up, and if you poison the roots, do you think that tree would sustain long enough? And then we also have this thing of fear of losing face among these people. Fear of losing face is a lot greater in us than solving problems. Instead of discussing issues openly, we fear, yeah, we what would people say? The reputation of a family, some idiots talking bad about us, social judgment. So problems just stay hidden until they explode like a bomb. A lot of dependency, it just kills that genuine attraction. Too much clinginess, too much neediness, desperation. So a lot of women smell desperation. So you see that a woman's inbox is constantly flooded with thousands of texts inboxes. She smells desperation right through it. So I had watched one video. I think I'd reacted to it. It's by this creator Iron Balls. He had talked about making profiles on Tinder just as a social experiment. And when he made a profile as a female, he himself could smell desperation of males. So you know what I'm talking about. Too much texting, calling, no space for individuality, no personal life. When your entire identity hinges on that relationship, genuine attraction dies, just resentment bottles up and grows. Independence creates attraction, dependence suffocates it. Like if we look the great legacy of our country, when we were enslaved by the Britishers, we fought for independence because independence mirrors strength, signals strength to the world. You stand as an independent being. Right now, we all know the state of affairs of North Korea, how much desperation there is and how much of a facade it is from a long-term perspective, how North Koreans are just subjugated. But you see the point. It's the same. Like if you use this analogy in relationships, we want to become North Koreans just from a metaphorical perspective, from a relationship perspective, rather than just becoming true independent people, which is genuinely valued. And then people sometimes confuse this intensity that will be intense for late night calls, certain dramas, possessiveness, showing jealousy, just to show that we care instead of actually genuinely valuing real compatibility. Obsessing over the other half for what? Like he or she is just a homo sapien. They think it's passion, again, that Bollywood script is running. In reality, in psychology, we call this bonding over traumas. Intensity feels exciting in the small run, but in the long run, it's a guaranteed crash. So if you are aware of the experience of drinking, which I'm sure a lot of us are, you see the hangover that comes after you have drunk a lot the previous night, you just crash. So a lot of us are not ready for commitment. Commitment is not like staying together, it is taking responsibility for a lot of things, managing conflicts with a genuine and open heart, honesty, which is very rare to expect because we are not even honest to ourselves. How can we be honest to the other person? Requires a lot of self-control, a lot of emotional regulation, healthy emotional regulation, a lot of maturity. A lot of people lack these skills, and not a lot of us even want to develop these skills because we see them as time-based. Again, I feel this obsession with title, that we are now Mr. and Mrs. whatnot, but the actual grind that goes in making a relationship work. So I think these are just some of my insights on certain relationships around marriages and how marriage as a relationship functions, or let's say when people are entering into relationships, just certain things that just happens. But let me know what your experiences have been. Do write in the comment section that what is the type of work that you have done, what weaknesses have you broken, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, stay awesome. Just keep working hard on yourself. Anyhow, this is Debu Ki Dastak from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers, stay awesome. Bye.